What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keenan Rivals, bringing this podcast from the new office today. You probably hear a little bit of echo, but don't worry. I got some things coming in to take care of that. But, I couldn't wait for the things to come in. So I wanted to get some content out for you guys because it's been too long. Today, we're going to be going over some of these sports cards that recently ended here. And I'm going to be kind of giving my opinions on these. I do have some other content coming as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I want to jump right into these cards. But before we do so, I want to remind everybody to head over to the High Upside Show, sign up for the newsletter. If you want this content every day, if you want the most up-to-date content, and if you want to follow my journey into sports card investing, definitely do so. All you got to do is type in your email address, subscribe to your boy. It's less than a cup of coffee per day. And that's going to give you access to my investment tracker, my investment portfolio, and you can kind of see everything that I'm doing in real time. Now, looking into some sports cards, a lot of these are sports cards that we talked about before. Again, I'll kind of highlight this a little bit later in another video, but these are cards that I've talked about for quite some time. And what we're going to see here is a lot of these cards have moved up in price, which is really, really cool. And yeah, we're going to start off with Kyrie Irving. Now, this is the Hoops Artist Proof card. I think this was a steal. It went for $400. I'm not sure what the official pop report on the Artist Proof are, but I'm a big fan of like press proof and proof cards because they are typically very, very limited, especially when you're getting them at a PSA 10. So I feel like within a month or two, Kyrie's Hoops PSA 10, just a base rookie, is going to go for about $400. I think that card is going to, kind of hit this price point consistently. So to be able to get this press proof card for this price point was a steal. I'm going to assume that a lot of people who are bidding on this card, who are looking at this card, overlooked the artist proof aspect of it. I think they looked at it, they saw a typical hoops card, and then they moved on. And yeah, really, really great find to whoever won this. I'm really into these like obscure 2012 Panini cards. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Panini Gold Knight, which is another limited card. And this artist proof is right up there. And yeah, I think this was a great, great value. $400 if you're into Kyrie or if you're collecting some 2012, players. Definitely look out for cards like this because they're not super popular, but in the grand scheme of things, if Kyrie wins a championship, if the Nets can kind of figure things out, whether it's this year or next year, people are going to flock towards this card because it's very, very limited. This is like the equivalent of a hoops gold to a certain degree. Actually, let's look up the pop report on this. Let's just dive right into it. Not be lazy today. Kind of see what that pop report is. All right. So if you guys didn't know, you can kind of search a little bit faster. Yep, look at this artist proof. There's a pop of two. There's only two of these in circulation compared to the 176 base hoops, and this one went for $400. So that's a steal in my opinion. If you look at Kyrie's PSA 10 hoops by itself, it's probably similar in the similar range, like 355. So that means a card with the pop of two sold for about $50 more than the base rookie. So again, whoever saw that, great find. Definitely look out for those things, guys. Let's move on to the next card. This one's a 2009-2010 Stephen Curry playoff contenders. This sold for $11,000. That's a lot of money for a card. If you're watching this and you don't have $11,000, don't feel bad. I can't get this card either, and neither can a lot of people. But I think if you are in the ballpark, outside of this terrible autograph, we got to start looking at the autographs on PSA, guys. Like this is a BGSA autograph. We got to start looking at the autographs. But if we're just talking about price point here, this card went for this is another steal. A lot of people are looking at these and they're just not too familiar with the card. They don't know the market that well. $11,000 for a Steph Curry contenders auto is nothing when you have a Luka who's 2018-19 BGS 9.5 contenders premium one for $13,000. Lucas, even though this is a premium, it's still a BGS. Lucas should not be outselling Stephen Curry. Not with these cards. Not when the grades and the pop reports are very similar. I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of these out there. This is another card that you might want to be looking at if you're, a high-end investor. A lot of these high-end cards are super, super undervalued right now, especially with fractional investing and institutions kind of coming in and grabbing these up. These are going to be the kind of cards they grab. Look at like Tom Brady's contenders autograph. Look at anybody's contenders autograph in football. They're extremely high value cards. I don't see why Stephen Curry wouldn't be any different. If you're looking at high end stuff, Stop always going with the Topps Chrome base. Start looking at these autographs, start looking at these contenders, national treasures, ultimate collections. They're not sexy right now because they're expensive, but as the Prism and the Topps Chrome kind of get up there in price point, well, then you got to look at these. Think about LeBron James. Would you rather have his Topps Chrome refractor, or would you rather have that ultimate collection autograph? A lot of people are probably going to say the ultimate collection, even though the Topps Chrome refractor is something you hear about a lot more. So wanted to highlight that for the high end guys out there. Again, this autograph's a little sketchy. It could be just a bad scan too, but super, super undervalued if we got Luca going for 10,000 plus as well. So that's the 2009, 2010 playoff contenders PSA 10 rookie autograph for those of you who are not looking on YouTube. Back to 2009, 2010, I wanted to talk about James Harden. This is something that I brought up in Morning Bins for those of you who are signed up. I know Morning Bins has been kind of spotty, but what can you do when you're moving? But yeah, James Harden, his Topps PSA 8 recently sold for $634. I've always been talking about PSA 8 since I started this channel. I'm a big fan of 8s. I'm a really big fan of 8.5s because they're so limited. But yeah, $634. That's a pretty good price for James Harden. He's obviously doing really well right now. He's top 3 in terms of like the MVP contenders. But yeah, you guys know what I'm about to bring up. If James Harden's Topps PSA 8 is going for $634, then how is Kevin Durant's only going for $402? That doesn't make any sense to me. I understand the pops are super, super, more for the PSA 8, but I just feel like it's Kevin Durant. Like, you ever like argue with a friend and it's like, oh, should LeBron? It's like, bro, it's LeBron. It's not an argument. And in this case, it's Kevin Durant. Like that should be enough said. This card, if you look at Kevin Durant's PSA 10, for example, compared to James Harden's PSA 10, we can see that Kevin Durant is outshining James Harden by quite some bit. I think Kevin Durant's PSA 10 goes for about $10,000, and if I'm not mistaken, I'll try to pull it up as fast as possible. But James Harden, his Topps PSA 10 sells for about 6,000, something along those lines. The last one went for 6,357. It just needs to trickle down for each. Sorry, there's a lot of construction going on here. Today's episode is going to be a little rough, guys, but I wanted to stop making excuses and I wanted to get it out to you because it's going to take a little longer than I thought to build this office out. So this is the play for me. I just bought a Topps Kevin Durant yesterday. I think I bought this $402 one. I think these cards could hit $600-700, especially as Kevin Durant comes back. He's rumored to come back today. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I just don't see how James Harden can outsell Kevin Durant. I get the pop reports are lower. I get 2009 Topps is kind of iconic. But I think, right now where investors are kind of at, they're still focused on price. I think that's going to change in the grand scheme of things, but I think they're still focused on price and not market cap. And you know, once they kind of see that Kevin Durant's cheaper than James Harden, once Kevin Durant kind of comes back and does his job, I see this card moving up, and I kind of see them being in the same playing field. Maybe Kevin Durant might be a little bit higher. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think the pop report is going to affect the price of KD's Topps PSA 8, or do you see it kind of shooting past James Harden? With that being said, if you do, there's a lot of Kevin Durant cards kind of available right now. We got this one for $450. We got another one here with the best offer, I believe, from Burbank for $475. So if you're kind of bullish on Kevin Durant, if you kind of agree with my sentiment, then these are available for purchase. And they're a lot cheaper than James Harden's Topps PSA 8. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm basing this off of. And I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. Moving on, I wanted to talk about one thing that a lot of people kind of overlook. This play already happened, so I don't think there's that much money to be made here, but I want to kind of show you guys a pattern that we've been following on the high upside show for quite some time. This goes back to like the Michael Porter Jr. days. So if you look at Jokic's 2015-16 Prism rookie, this is a PSA 10. We can see that one recently ended for $1,700, 39 bids. Pretty popular card. And if you go to the next tab, you can see that his Prism Silver on the same day ended for, I want to say this one ended for like 17 or 1800. I think it was the best offer. So, we got two cards, kind of in the same price point. We got a PSA 10 base going for 17, and then we got a Prism PSA 9 that went for, I think 17 or 18. And that's going to be the silver. So Now, when you look at these, they're kind of going for the same price, but what tends to happen is that the PSA 9 silver always takes a little bit longer to kind of match the price of the Prism base PSA 10. Eventually, it ends up passing up the Prism PSA 10, but there's always like a little window to be able to buy that card. So if we look here at a card ladder, we can see that, Jokic's, Prism was selling for his PSA 10 was selling for like 15, 1600 consistently. I mean, for about a month, it went for $1,600. Meanwhile, the Prism PSA 9 was going for $1,100, $1,200. There was like a $400 or $500 gap in between the Prism PSA 9 silver and the Prism PSA 10. And then what happened? Jokic kept playing well. The Nuggets started playing well. They started looking good. And then boom, that Prism PSA 9 shot up and sold for $2,000. So, essentially what happens is you can kind of allow the Prism PSA 10 base to indicate what the 9 is going to do. So if you kind of see, like, at one point they were the same price, and then you saw Jokic start playing really well. I think Embiid went down. He became like one of the clear MVP votes. And then bam, his Prism went up March 7th. You still had a ton of time to go out and find a Prism Silver PSA 9 for $1,100. Even though the Prism PSA 10 went up, you still had time to go kind of buy that card, because the Prism PSA 10 acted as an indicator to show you that the Jokic's stocks went up. But because we don't think PSA 9 is sexy, or because we don't buy them right away, those are still kind of undervalued. So this is something we used to use on Michael Porter Jr. back in the day. We would see his Prism PSA 10s go up, but then his PSA 9s were still like extremely undervalued. I think at one point, Michael Porter Jr.'s Prism PSA 10 was selling for like $250, but you were able to like go buy his Prism PSA 9 silver all day for like $150, $170. And, we did that. And then eventually, once he kept playing well, people kind of gained more confidence in him. You quickly saw that Prism PSA 9 go up like $300. And again, this play's already happened. We've missed the boat on buying Jokic's Prism PSA 9s for $1,100 because they're up now. But again, you don't have to win on every play to learn. We see this play, we see the patterns. Now we can do it next time. So for example, if Jamal Murray starts balling, we're going to see his Prism PSA 10 go up. And then we're going to know, like, okay, it's time to go buy Jamal Murray's Prism PSA 9, as long as we, think he's going to continue to play well. So, and just think about it. If you're a LeBron fan, this is a higher end player. Would you rather have LeBron's Topps Chrome PSA 10, or would you rather have his Topps Chrome PSA 9 refractor? It's refractor all day. It's going to be silver all day. Now, when you get into more modern cards, there is some pop report issues. There's a lot of, PSA 10 cards. So maybe the PSA 9 is less attractive. But when you're kind of like in that 2015, 2000, anything older than like 2016, it is a play, in my opinion, because those cards are still pretty limited. The PSA 9s are going to have a lot of value. When you kind of get into 2017, 2018, well, then you have a lot of PSA 10s. So it's like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get one. So yeah, use this rule of thumb for kind of like, older cards or cards, pre-2018 cards. And it should work out pretty well from you. You should be able to make some money from it. So yeah, definitely wanted to give you that tip. I feel like right now we should be buying, if you're still buying Prism, like if that's still your thing, definitely go for the Prism Silver PSA 9 versus the Prism PSA 10. Assuming the pop reports make sense. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that tip. With that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. Again, a little, raunchy, but I wanted to get something out for you guys. I have a huge setup coming, but shipping is just taking forever. I would assume that it should be done at the end of the month, and then I'll kind of do a desk tour for you guys. But we're going to just keep dropping these podcasts every day. And, if the audio is bad, if there's an echo, then I'm just going to have to apologize. But I feel like you guys would rather have the content than wait for it to be perfect. So let me know what you guys think about today's episode. If you haven't already, definitely head over to Twitter, shoot me a follow at High Upside Show. I greatly appreciate it. I love talking to you guys on there. It's been a minute since we've chopped it up on there, so definitely got to get back to that. As well as Instagram, I'm going to be posting a question of the day today, kind of regarding today's episode, and I'll leave it to you guys as well. If you had the money, would you rather have a Prism Silver PSA 9, or would you rather have a Prism PSA 10? Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Instagram. That's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to check out the High Upside Show. Sign up, follow all of my investments. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy investing.